Part 95. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 941. After returning to the Yanhuang, Wang Feng breathed a sigh of relief. He had already completed one of the two missions he had come to this universe for. As long as he could kill the Devourer's nest, he would have completed his mission and could prepare to return home. Wang Feng didn't care too much about the Devourer's nest. Although the Devourer had millions of troops, Wang Feng, who had killed a Devourer, knew that what he had to do was not to fight with the Devourer's army, but to find a way to enter the nest. Now he knew the internal structure of the Devourer's nest very well, so it was not too difficult for Wang Feng, who could already fly in the universe for a short time, to kill the nest. Dong Huang Tai was not Fuxi, so he still had the special abilities of the human race. Driving the Yanhuang was not a problem. As long as Dong Huang Tai could use the Yanhuang to attract the Devourer's nest's attention, Wang Feng would have a chance to sneak up on the nest. After all, in the battle of the universe, a person was too small and difficult to be noticed. After importing the star map obtained from the Kali tribe's spaceship into the Yanhuang, Wang Feng set the course again and sailed towards the direction of the Devourer. Judging from the distance, they will be able to arrive in less than 2 years. In this way, Wang Feng may be able to return to his own universe within 10 years. However, after 10 years, can Wang Feng, who has returned to his own universe, find his Hope Expeditionary Force and see Lu Wanting, Du Enlai, Lu Feng and others again? Looking at the vast universe ahead, Wang Feng couldn't help but feel a little worried, but now more than 6 years have passed. If they can hold on until now, then it shouldn't be a problem to hold on for a few more years. However, Wang Feng doesn't know now whether the Hope Expeditionary Force has found the exit of the Land of Divine Punishment in more than 6 years and left that ghost place. The Hope Expeditionary Force did not leave the Land of Divine Punishment, although they didn't know that once they left the Land of Divine Punishment, they would directly open the Endless Road, but at this moment Wang Feng was missing, and the Hope Expeditionary Force would definitely not leave here before finding him. The current God's Punishment Land has changed. The bloody sky and earth no longer exist. The sky has returned to blue, and the earth has become green because of the growing plants. If Wang Feng returns here, he will definitely not believe that this is the God's Punishment Land he left. This is simply a normal world. And the city built by the Forgotten has been repaired and looks brand new. The demolished walls and buildings have all been cleared away. In the entire city, only the former inner city has been preserved and has become the base of the Hope Expeditionary Force. The current inner city is also surrounded by various plants. The blue sky and green earth, as well as the lake outside the city, make people feel relaxed and happy. Yes, this is the former God's Punishment Land, but it has undergone earth-shaking changes because of a person's breakthrough. This person is the only 9th level warrior in the entire Hope Expeditionary Force, Lin Li. At the beginning, after Wang Feng disappeared, Lin Li and Lu Wanting stayed at the portal, waiting for Wang Feng. They didn't know if Wang Feng would come back, or when he would come back, but Lu Wanting insisted on staying there to wait, so Lin Li had to stay there. However, after a few days, Lin Li found that he couldn't wait any longer. Although they were very powerful now and could go without food or water for a long time, it would cost them the life energy in their bodies. Since Wang Feng left, Lu Wanting has been standing in front of the portal. Except for a few times asking Lin Li to drive a small fighter plane to leave first, she didn't even move. If this goes on, when the life energy in their bodies is exhausted, they will probably become forgotten. Lin Li certainly doesn't want this to happen. Especially, there were only 2 of them here now. If something happened to Lu Wanting, Lin Li estimated that he would be drowned by the saliva of the Hope Expeditionary Force, but he also did not dare to leave, because he had the same concerns as Lu Wanting. This ghost place was so weird. Once he left, who knew if he could find it again? The star map of the small fighter plane could not be used, so it was impossible to record the coordinates here. However, After persisting for another 3 days, Lin Li could not sit still, because he knew that if this continued, if Wang Feng could appear in time, it would be fine. If he did not come back, or came back after a long time, he would probably only see two Forsaken standing here. So, Lin Li took the risk of launching a superpower he had never used before, remote summoning. The function of the superpower is that he can summon the controlled creatures left in the Forsaken City here, but doing so consumes a lot of energy for Lin Li. Especially now that they were trapped in this strange space, Lin Li didn't know whether his remote summoning ability would work. Once this ability was activated, no matter whether it was successful or not, he couldn't get back the energy he consumed. In other words, if it failed, Lu Wanting might be able to hold on for another month or two, but Lin Li might be transformed into a forsaken person in a few days. But now Lin Li couldn't wait any longer. Because there was no food to replenish, the energy in his body was being consumed continuously. Although it was very slow, if he waited any longer, when the energy in his body reached a critical point, even if he wanted to activate the remote summoning ability, he would fail due to insufficient energy. Lin Li quietly walked to the side, then took a deep breath, and resolutely activated his ability. Fortunately, Lin Li succeeded. Although he only summoned the rhinoceros and the wind wolf leader he summoned first, this was enough. About a day and a half later, the rhinoceros and the wind wolf leader appeared in front of Lin Li. At this time, Lin Li's life energy was almost exhausted. He looked at Lu Wanting, then ordered the wind wolf to guard her here, and he climbed up the rhinoceros and left here. The arrival of the rhinoceros and the wind wolf did not bring hope to the expeditionary soldiers. Lin Li knew that there was only one possibility, that is, they were not in that city, so no one found the rhinoceros and the wind wolf leaving. Lin Li was going back to find someone and bring food and water to Lu Wanting. When Wang Feng left the city, he left some food and water, but he didn't expect that he would accidentally leave the land of divine punishment, so he didn't leave much, just enough for the expeditionary army to use for a week. He didn't dare to leave before because Lin Li was afraid that he wouldn't be able to find it back, but now that the wind wolf stayed here, Lin Li was not afraid of not being able to find it back. Before leaving, he left a wild mark on the wind wolf, which could last for 10 days. As long as there was this wild mark, Lin Li could find the location of the wind wolf. After he left the wind wolf an order that he couldn't leave Lu Wanting even if he died, he was finally able to leave with peace of mind. At least, he had to find a way to let Duan Lei know what happened here, so that he could decide what to do. As for Lu Wanting, with the wind wolf guarding her, and the small fighter Lin Li also left, there shouldn't be any danger. At least, during this time, Lin Li didn't find any creatures. As for getting out of here and finding the city they started from, this shouldn't be a problem, because the rhino and wind wolf just came over, so they just need to go back along the original route. Lin Li secretly hated it in his heart. If he had known this, he should have left a wild mark on the monsters he left in the Forgotten City when he left. In this way, with the guidance of the wild mark, Wang Feng would not be sucked into the portal. But now that things have come to this, Lin Li has no choice but to wait until he returns to that city and look for Duan Lei to see if he has any solution. After ordering the rhino to return along the original route, Lin Li sat quietly on the back of the rhino, looking around at the surrounding environment. In this mysterious space, even in the dark, there was no movement. Therefore, even though it was getting dark, Lin Li was not in a hurry. He was carrying a strong flashlight obtained from a small fighter. After entering the night, Lin Li took out a strong flashlight and shone it forward. Because it was dark now, he was afraid that the rhino would rashly take him out of this special space. There was no danger in this space, but once he entered the land of God's punishment, it would be different. Lin Li didn't want to be swallowed by the space cracks. So, if he saw that the front had returned to normal, Lin Li would stop and wait until dawn before continuing on his way. However, after a night of running around, The rhino did not take Linley out of this mysterious space. Linley began to feel that something was not right. After he issued a remote summon, the wind wolf and the rhino only took a day and a half to reach him. He remembered that before entering this mysterious space, Wang Feng seemed to have flown a distance. According to this calculation, if after leaving this mysterious space, the rhino should also need most of the day to return to the Forgotten City, then he should have seen the environment he saw in the Land of God's Punishment before. Linley used the flashlight to shine around him, but what he saw was still the same scenery. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 942. After daybreak, Li Lin finally understood that it was easy to enter this damn space, but it seemed difficult to get out, because the rhino horned beast told him that he could no longer smell the smell he left behind when he came in. In other words, they are lost again. However, after sensing the location of the wind wolf, he found that it was possible to find the wind wolf, so Lin Li did not rush back. Instead, he rode the rhino horned beast and continued to move forward. Now he can't do anything if he goes back, so he simply explores the way forward. If he still can't get out, then he can only go back to the portal and kill the two monsters he has conquered to replenish the physical strength of Lu Wanting and himself. Try to hold on for as long as possible. I hope Wang Feng can return before they are transformed into the Forgotten, otherwise. After continuing to run for half a day, Lin Li was finally completely disappointed. It only took a day and a half for the rhino horned beasts to come here. Now it has exceeded the time it took them to come, but they still have not been able to get out of this weird space. Lin Li simply led the rhino horned beast and started walking randomly instead of walking in a straight line. After nightfall, Lin Li finally made a new discovery. Under the illumination of a strong flashlight, he found something on the ground on the left that was reflecting light. The light of the flashlight. After finally seeing something unusual, Lin Li naturally couldn't let it go. However, for the sake of safety, he climbed down from the back of the rhino horned beast first, and then let the rhinoceros horned beast go to the place with bright light reflection first to confirm that there was no danger. After that, Lin Li ran over to check. When he saw that thing, Lin Li breathed a sigh of relief. It was the skeleton of an undead. He might have entered this space unintentionally, but then never walked out. For some unknown reason, it was buried underground. Only a small piece of skull was exposed, and under the illumination of the flashlight, it glowed pale white. Lin Li's arrival shocked the Forgotten Man. His head moved twice, but because it was buried underground, the amplitude was very small. Lin Li was naturally not polite. He immediately dug up some soil and then kicked his head. The skull was kicked away, and then dug and dismantled, bit by bit, all the bones of the undead were removed. After that, Lin Li took the undead's spine and searched carefully around for a while. Unexpectedly, he discovered a second undead. He still used the same method as before to dismantle the Forgotten One. After leaving his spine alone, Lin Liu began to search. However, it seemed that there were only these two forgotten people here. Lin Li had not found anything else until dawn. Fortunately, he passed by at night and saw the exposed skull of the undead under the illumination of a strong flashlight. If it was during the day, these two undead might be ignored by him. After harvesting the bones of the two forgotten people, Lin Li finally felt that God would not kill him. With the gifts of these two souls, he and Lu Wanting could persist longer. However, after seeing the skeletons thrown everywhere by him, Lin Li hesitated for a moment, then collected them all, then took off his camouflage combat uniform, packed up the two skeletons, and put them away the back of the rhinoceros. Although the souls of all the Forsaken are sealed between the fourth and fifth joints of their spines, they are now in a rather strange space. Lin Li is not sure about the identity of these two undead. Soul, too. He didn't have a clairvoyance and couldn't see the location of the soul at all, so to be on the safe side, Lin Li still took all the bones with him. At worst, he would just smash them all. It can always release the souls of both of them. Linley did not release the soul from the skeleton now. Although he needed to replenish his life energy now, if he used one here and took one back to Lu Wanting might not be able to release the soul by herself. The soul in the world will let him do this. Now there are two here, just one for each person. After finding the two forgotten people, Linley finally stopped delaying and headed directly towards the location of Wind Wolf. Fortunately, although this space was strange, it seemed that after entering, he could not get out no matter what, but inside it's possible to confirm the coordinates. Before it got dark, Linley returned to the portal, then showed Lu Wanting his harvest, and then threw a spine to Lu Wanting and asked her to release the soul inside. Lu Wanting shook her head and threw the spine to Linley. Although Linley did not say that he had consumed a lot of life energy by summoning the rhinoceros beast and Wind Wolf, Lu Wanting could sense it from the life fluctuations in his body. In addition, of course Lu Wanting could guess what was going on with the extra rhino-horned beasts and wind wolves. After throwing the skeleton to Linley, she said, "Release these two. Don't give them to me. I'm already at level 10 now, you're only at level 9, and you're the only one at level 9 in the entire Hope Expeditionary Force. I hope the feedback from these two souls can let's get you to level 10. Linley hesitated while holding the skeleton, then looked at Lu Wanting, and finally walked aside with two skeletons. There was a big difference between level 9 and level 10, so Lu Wanting could indeed last longer than him. Moreover, when Linley reaches level 10, he may be able to summon more monsters that he has conquered. Whether they kill them for food or to help him find more skeletons, they can stay here longer. Linley gritted his teeth and broke the two skeletons together. Fortunately, the two souls gave their life energy to Linley before they dissipated. Unfortunately, Linley's level was not able to be upgraded to level 10. However, Linley already felt that as long as one or two more souls gave back life energy, he would be able to reach level 11. So, while his condition was fully recovered, Linley immediately set out without stopping to look for other buried skeletons. However, it seemed that his luck had run out before. Even if he looked for it at night, he did not find another skeleton, and a week had passed again. Damn it! I don't believe it. Linley cursed in a low voice. Because this damn space had no sense of direction at all, Linley had been wandering around. In this week, he only went back once to replenish the wild mark for the Wind Wolf. The rest of the time, he was all looking for skeletons. Linley was a little desperate now. Although his consumption was not large now, he couldn't go on like this, could he? So Linley was going to go back and try to persuade Lu Wanting to leave together first, and then go back to find Doomsday and the others after finding a way to leave this strange space, and then come back here. Anyway, he could leave the Wind Wolf here, so he was not afraid of never finding the portal again. But just when he was about to turn around and go back, he suddenly found some different traces in front of him, and hurriedly approached, and found that this was the place where he first found the two forgotten. Linley shook his head and prepared to leave. But he immediately thought that he had found the two forgotten here, so, would there be more nearby? So Linley gave up going back and started searching here again. After searching for several hours, he still had no harvest, but Linley was not discouraged, because it was daytime now, and there might be omissions. After dark, Linley began to search frantically, although he knew that even if he found a few bones that could release souls, even if he successfully entered the 10th level, if he could not leave this place, it would still be useless, and he and Lu Wanting would still become forgotten. But the current situation is that he must find something to do, and a goal for himself, whether it is to find the forgotten or to find a way to leave this space, he must find something to do. Now, Linley finally understands that those forgotten are so eager to die. Now, he has only been here for a few days, and he already feels that he is about to collapse. If this time is extended indefinitely, just thinking about it, Linley can feel the chills. In order to find the bones, Linley commanded the rhinoceros to use its horn to dig in this area continuously, hoping to find a few forgotten, but until dawn, Linley did not find anything. Looking at the messy ground that had been dug, Linley sighed, and finally rode on the rhinoceros and ran towards the portal. After returning to the portal, Linley did not speak, but sat down next to the portal. Looking at the portal, he did not understand why Wang Feng opened the portal as soon as he stretched out his hand, but he and Lu Wanting could not activate the portal at all. Could this be the legendary protagonist Halo? Linley's eyes kept circling the portal, hoping to find some new discoveries, but when he saw the position where the portal touched the ground, his eyes suddenly lit up, and then without saying a word, he stood up, pulled out his dagger, and started digging under the portal. Lu Wanting looked at Linley, frowned slightly, but did not speak. She saw that Wang Feng had tried it on the mother planet, and the portal could not be damaged at all. Linley's doing this was completely useless. Sure enough, when Linley dug the ground, he found that the portal that had left the ground was just standing in the air, without being affected at all. You. Looking at the big pit he dug, Linley was furious. He waved his hand vigorously and threw the dagger in his hand into the bottom of the pit, cursing. Kaka. When the dagger was inserted into the bottom of the pit, a sound suddenly came from the bottom of the pit. Linley and Lu Wanting were both stunned, because the sound was definitely not the sound that a dagger inserted into the soil could make. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 943. Linley didn't bother to look at Lu Wanting, and quickly rolled and crawled into the big hole he had just dug. He held his dagger and moved it slightly. Linley was overjoyed. He didn't know what the dagger was nailed to. It seems that the nail is still very strong. At this time, Linley had forgotten to be careful of the danger and started to randomly remove the soil from the ground. He was shocked to find that there was another set of bones underneath. However, this skeleton seemed to be different from the other forgotten ones. Its whole body was dark red, and when its skull was exposed, it did not move at all. However, Linley felt the life fluctuations from its bones, so no matter how many things there were, he still dealt with the skeleton in the same way as he dealt with the forgotten ones, directly tearing it open. What if Wei Yi was pretending to be dead? After taking out all the bones, Linley threw all the other bones aside. He just grabbed the spine and threw it to Lu Wanting. After standing for nearly 20 days, Lu Wanting has also been exhausted. If there is a soul in this skeleton, it should be able to allow Lu Wanting to persist for a while. But after Lu Wanting caught the skeleton, she looked at Linley and frowned. You haven't reached level 10 yet, what are you going to do for me? It's okay. If you need more, I'll just go look for it myself. Anyway, there's still more. Linley said, pretending not to care. Lu Wanting thought for a while, then came to Linley, stretched out her hand and said, Okay. Give me your weapon. Linley picked up the dagger he had thrown aside and handed it to Lu Wanting. Unexpectedly, Lu Wanting suddenly grabbed his hand holding the dagger, lifted him out of the pit, and then pointed directly at Linley with the dagger still in his hand. The piece of spine was cut off between the fourth and fifth sections. Crack! The spine snapped, and then green light floated out, condensing into the soul of an old man. This can't be right. Linley looked at the soul, pointed at Lu Wanting and said, She. It was she who saved you. It's her, she is she. But, even though Linley pointed at Lu Wanting repeatedly, that soul seemed to be different from other souls. He did not appear to be very calm after being released like other souls. The first movement was, he actually raised his head and looked at the sky. I never thought I would see the light of day again one day. I thought I would be silent here forever and never see the world again. Then, this green soul looked around the land of divine punishment, suddenly laughed, pointed at the sky and said, "Ha ha ha ha. You guys didn't expect that I would be released, did you? Goodbye, even if you want to seal me again now, it's already too late." Then, the soul lowered his head and looked at Lin Li. Lin Li was stunned, and quickly pointed at Lu Wanting. He was about to speak, but unexpectedly, the soul spoke first. "Okay. Little guy, don't I know who rescued me? By the way, you are quite skilled at breaking bones. However, this little girl is quite pleasing to the eye, just, haha. Forget it. Being able to witness my reincarnation is considered your blessing, so I will give you a blessing." Then, the soul reached out and pointed at Lu Wanting, and a green light entered Lu Wanting's body. Lu Wanting and Lin Li were shocked at the same time, because they had both seen the scene where Qiu Jian was almost taken away by that soul before. But now, this situation was very similar to what Qiu Jian encountered at that time. The only difference was that the soul entered Lu Wanting's body. The green light is just much smaller. Seeing the expressions of the two people, the soul couldn't help but smile and said, "The two little guys are quite devoted. Don't worry, I won't take away your bodies. Otherwise, those guys will catch you again and seal them again. That's it. Finally, I will give you some benefits. I will also it's time to go. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave." As he spoke, the green soul waved his hand, and a pure and huge life energy poured directly into Lin Li's body. After receiving this life energy, Lin Li's body shook, and he actually made a breakthrough. Level 10, and the energy fluctuations continued to rise. In less than a minute, Lin Li actually reached the level of an 11th level creature. "Ha ha ha ha. The grudge is over, I'm leaving." The green soul seemed to be very proud of himself when he saw Lin Li promoted 2 levels in a row. He smiled up into the sky again. Then, his whole body suddenly collapsed and gradually disappeared into the world. And as the soul dissipated, the land of God's punishment also experienced drastic changes. Rays of light shone through the sky of the land of God's punishment, shining on the dark red earth, and they continued to increase. Although Lin Li saw this strange scene, he didn't bother to appreciate it now, and he didn't have time to stabilize his rather unstable energy fluctuations due to the sudden increase in strength. He looked directly at Lu Wanting and asked, "How is it? What is that green light? Is it a soul? Has he taken away your body? Can you feel his presence?" A series of questions made Lu Wanting stunned. Then, she closed her eyes and felt her body carefully. After a moment, she gently shook her head and said, "No. I didn't feel anything. The green light seemed to disappear after entering my body. I didn't feel anything abnormal in my body. Moreover, I can feel that that soul has no ill intentions towards us. Although I don't know the effect of that green light yet, it should be good for me." Hearing Lu Wanting's words, Lin Li finally breathed a sigh of relief, and then he stabilized the energy fluctuations in his body while watching the changes happening around him. Just as they said these 2 words, the space they were in had changed drastically. The blood-colored sky was almost completely dispersed by the light falling down, and the dark red desolate land illuminated by the light was it also gradually regained its vitality. Countless buds sprouted out of the ground, covering the earth with green gauze, as if they were messengers of life, slowly waking up the dead earth. Looking at all this, both Lu Wanting and Lin Li were speechless, but their intuition told them that what happened now was absolutely beneficial to them. As time went by, just over 6 hours later, the surrounding environment changed dramatically. The sky became blue, there were a few white clouds floating, and the earth was covered with greenery, showing a vibrant scene. In any case, at least the current environment made Lu Wanting and Lin Li feel much better. However, when Lu Wanting's eyes returned to the portal, she became a little sad again. When the person in your heart is not around, there is not much difference between heaven and hell. Lin Li looked at the surroundings with surprise on his face, but when his eyes fell on Lu Wanting, the smile on his face froze. He sighed softly, and then walked towards the rhino-horned beast. Now that the environment has changed dramatically, maybe the rules of heaven and earth have also changed. Maybe he can find a way out now. In order to prevent others from coming out, Lin Li used the wild mark on the Wind Wolf King again, and then rode Rhinoceros, left the portal. Along the way, Lin Li ran wildly in the direction where the Wind Wolf King and Rhinoceros came to look for him. It only took him more than 30 minutes to see a small mountain. Although the hill is now covered with green grass, Lin Li can still confirm that he has indeed run out of that mysterious space. No, I didn't run out of that mysterious space, but that mysterious space should have dissipated. Of course, Lin Li knew in his heart that the drastic changes in the land of God's punishment must be related to the soul he finally released, but Lin Li didn't have time to study this issue now, and he didn't have the brains. This kind of thing should be left to a guy with a high IQ like Duan Lei to worry about. As for me, I only need to remember what happened and then tell Duan Lei exactly what happened. When the city of the Forgotten finally appeared in front of Lin Li was so excited that he almost cried. God knows how much pressure he was under during this time. Since joining the Hope Expeditionary Force, he has never experienced such great pressure independently. With the presence of Duan Lei, Wang Feng, Lu Feng, and others, he only needs to follow the orders, and the rest is basically don't worry. First, he sensed the location of the Wind Wolf and found that he could still clearly know where it was. Lin Li finally relaxed completely and pushed the rhinoceros with all his strength, running towards the city of the Forsaken. He swore in his heart that he would never go out alone with Wang Feng in the future, at least with someone like Lu Feng or Duan Lei who could make decisions. As an executor, Lin Li should be quite qualified, but as a decision-maker, Lin Li felt that this was too scary. It wouldn't be a big deal if something happened to him, but it would be damned if it affected other people. Lin Li was actually scared now. Fortunately, the soul hidden in the special skeleton he dug out had no ill intentions towards them. If it were the same as the soul released by Qiu Jian, Lu Wanting would have been taken away by now. And after Lu Wanting was taken away, it was impossible for him to come back alive. At that time, he had not reached level 11. He at level 9 was no match for Lu Wanting at level 10. The rhino-horned beast came running from a distance, and the Hope Expeditionary Force, which had already returned to the city, naturally discovered it. A group of people came out to greet it. The man walking in the front was Duan Lei, who Lin Li wanted to see the most right now. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 944. Although Wang Feng, Lu Wanting and Lin Li went out and did not come back for a long time, Duan Lei and the others were not too worried before because they felt that in this land of divine punishment, there seemed to be no living creatures that could bring Wang Feng and the others danger is coming. Especially the changes in the land of divine punishment made Duan Lei and the others feel that this must have been caused by Wang Feng again. When I heard that Lin Li was back, I naturally came out immediately, wanting to know what they had done and whether they had found a way out of the land of God's punishment. Only Dong Huangtai was still sitting there as steady as a mountain, because he knew that the changes in the land of divine punishment must have nothing to do with Wang Feng. At this time, Wang Feng should still be in his universe, preparing to annihilate the devourer. Here's the army. It's just that Dong Huangtai didn't tell Duan Lei and the others, because during this period of time, he had already seen that Wang Feng seemed to have become the soul of the Hope Expeditionary Army. Regardless of whether Wang Feng was there or not, as long as they knew that Wang Feng was still there. If they are alive, then they can exert their strongest combat power. But what if they learn that Wang Feng is dead? Can they still maintain their peak combat power? Having a soul figure does have a very positive effect on the cohesion of an army, but this situation is not necessarily good for the army on certain occasions. Wang Feng is their soul, but it is also their weakness. Once they encounter a strong enemy, if the enemy knows their weakness, then as long as they focus all their efforts on Wang Feng and kill him, then the Hope Expeditionary Force may be there. Instant chaos. They will be carried away by anger and lose close cooperation with each other. Although each of them can unleash their strongest combat power, it will only be the end of their efforts and will eventually lead to destruction. Therefore, Dong Huangtai now clearly knows where Wang Feng is and when he will return, but he has always kept it secret. He hopes that the expeditionary force must learn how to continue on after losing Wang Feng. This can be regarded as Dong Huangfeng's return. Huangtai gave them a test. Lin Li. Where is the madman? When Duan Lei was still some distance away from Lin Li, he shouted loudly. Where is Ting Ting? Are you responsible for this drastic change in the land of God's punishment? Brother Lei. Although Lin Li is 3 or 4 years older than Duan Lei, he still calls him Brother Duan Lei. We entered a very strange space that could only be entered but not exited. After wandering around for a long time, we discovered a portal. At that time, the madman asked us to stay in the fighter plane and wait. He went over to see if he could activate the portal. Portal. After arriving in front of Duan Lei and the others, Lin Li jumped off the rhino-horned beast and immediately began to describe the situation they had encountered before. After passing by, as soon as the madman's hand touched the portal was activated. But who knew that after the portal was activated, a burst of suction came out and the madman was absorbed into it. Ting Ting and I did not before we could catch up, the portal was closed. Neither of us could activate the portal, so we just kept waiting there. Later, Lin Li recounted all their experiences while recalling them. When he finished speaking, he stood there and looked at Duan Lei, waiting for Duan Lei to make up his mind. After Duan Lei heard this, he turned back to Lu Feng without any hesitation and said, Old Lu, let me go over and take a look. You bring people here and let everyone tidy up the city. It is estimated that we will live here for a while in the future. We will leave the inner city and the demolished outer city and collect what we can, reuse the materials to strengthen the defense of the inner city, and you can take care of the rest. Lin Li and I will go over there and take a look. Xiao Wu. Number 7. You two follow me, Qiu Jian and Qin Xuan, you stay here to protect the city. By the way, Xiao Wu, go bring some food. We'll set off right away. Everyone who was called by Duan Lei nodded in agreement, and then went their separate ways. Qiu Jian looked at Duan Lei and the others' retreating figures, sighed softly, and then turned around and walked towards the city. When Duan Lei and the others came to the portal, Lu Wanting and Feng Lang were still here, but now Lin Li was certain that the rules of heaven and earth in the land of God's punishment must have happened because of the departure of that soul. Change. Because when he came back just now, he did not sense the location of the Wind Wolf, but relied on his own memory to find it directly. In other words, from now on, they can travel freely from here to the city. I'll get lost again. After studying the portal for a long time, Duan Lei finally confirmed that this damn door seemed to be activated only by Wang Feng. He looked at Lu Wanting and felt that he seemed unable to persuade her, so he simply did not speak. Just put the food in front of Lu Wanting. Ting Ting. I know you want to wait for the madman to come back. Don't worry, that guy will definitely show up again. This is not the first time he has done this kind of thing. I remember that time in Hacky City, this guy rushed up and detonated it. 2 missiles. We were almost sure that this guy was dead, but what happened? A few days later, he was still alive and kicking. I have no problem with you waiting here, but you don't want him to see your haggard look when he comes back, right? Then if he thinks we've treated you badly, then I'll be in trouble. So, I don't care what you think, but you have to take good care of your body, okay? Lu Wanting looked at Duan Lei, nodded slightly and said, I understand. Brother Lei. Thank you. At the same time, I also want to say sorry. In fact, I know that by doing this, not only can I not help you, but I am causing chaos for the Hope Expeditionary Force. I have also been the leader of the camp, and I know what I should do now, but I am so confused right now and I just can't calm down. Can you please give me some time? Duan Lei smiled softly, went over and patted Lu Wanting on the shoulder and said, I understand. You are a girl. Unlike us, most girls are accustomed to relying on a strong arm. No matter how strong she is, she will eventually need a harbor. In fact, let alone you, even our entire Hope Expeditionary Force will become a different person if we lose the madman. So. Ting ting. Just wait for him here. I believe that the madman will definitely come back. Yes. Not only do you need him, we also need this guy to come back and continue to lead us along the way. Kindness. Lu Wanting nodded. Thank you. Brother Lei. Duan Lei nodded and then said. Okay. Then you have something to eat first, and I'll go back and find someone to build a small house here. You can be the checkpoint we hope the expeditionary force will place here. Once the madman comes back, we will be able to get the news immediately. After the drastic changes in the land of God's punishment, the communicator on their station was ready for use. Duan Lei and the others also used the communicator to call Wang Feng, but at that time, neither Lin Li nor Lu Wanting was among the small fighters. Middle. After that, Lin Li rode the rhino-horned beast and left directly to find someone in the city of the Forgotten. Of course, Lu Wanting never expected to go into a small fighter plane, so naturally no one responded to Duan Lei's call. Lin Li. Wait for me to go back, Xiao Wu, number 7, you guys wait here first, you can take one of them out and walk around. See if you find anything. After Duan Lei left Lu Wanting, he said to Xiao Wu and others. After hearing Duan Lei's words, Lin Li couldn't help but interrupt. I've almost turned this area upside down, I shouldn't have found anything. Duan Lei looked at Lin Li and then said. You were before the drastic change. Who knows if there will be any changes after that? Even if you find some usable plants, it would be good. Number 7 nodded. I'm good at this, so let me go. As a devourer, he must be the best at discerning the amount of life energy contained in a plant. Okay. That's it for now. Duan Lei said, and then he and Lin Li rode on the rhino-horned beast and left. The poor Lin Li was now almost a full-time driver because of the rhinoceros-horned beast, running back and forth along this road. When he came back again, Lin Li was still leading the team, and he also brought a small group of expeditionary soldiers, most of whom were women. They would set up a checkpoint here and wait for Wang Feng's return. What is surprising is that Dong Huangtai, after hearing what Duan Lei said about Lu Wanting's situation, actually followed him to the portal. Duan Lei thought that Dong Huangtai wanted to take a look at the portal. So I didn't care. However, after Dong Huangtai arrived, he didn't even look at the portal that stood in the sky because it was hollowed out by Lin Li instead, he came directly to Lu Wanting and looked at her carefully. Wang Feng was a big help to them in their universe, so although Dong Huangtai wanted to help Wang Feng and train the Hope Expeditionary Force, he didn't want his girlfriend to become depressed because of Wang Feng's disappearance. In the eyes of Dong Huangtai, men and women are also treated differently. As a man, it is normal to bear some pressure. If you can't even bear the pressure, then what is a man? But women are different. Their hearts are very fragile. Especially Dong Huangtai knew that it would take a long time for Wang Feng to return this time. He didn't want Lu Wanting to worry for such a long time, so he followed come over. Little girl. There is something I think I should tell you. After looking at Lu Wanting for a while, Dong Huangtai said to her softly. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 945. Lu Wanting raised her head and looked at Dong Huangtai with some doubts in her eyes. Dong Huangtai looked at Xiao Wu beside him. Can I talk to this little girl alone? Xiao Wu was stunned for a moment, then looked at Lu Wanting. In Xiao Wu's heart, Dong Huangtai was not a member of the Hope Expeditionary Force, so Xiao Wu did not dare to completely rest assured about him. However, Lu Wanting still nodded to Xiao Wu, indicating that she was fine. When Xiao Wu saw Lu Wanting like this, he had to leave. After all, Xiao Wu was originally from Lu Wanting's camp. For Lu Wanting, even if Xiao Wu is strong now, but for Lu Wanting there is still some fear. After Xiao Wu left, Dong Huangtai looked at the portal, sighed and said, "Don't worry, that boy Wang Fen will come back, but it will take many years." Lu Wanting's eyes lit up. Dong Huangtai was a great prophet. Although he said that his ability to predict had disappeared, his words were weighty enough. Especially for Lu Wanting now, even if it was a lie, she was willing to go. I believe that women always have the ability to deceive themselves, so they are more likely to live in a fairy tale world. How do you know? Lu Wanting looked at Dong Huangtai and asked. Haha. Because. Dong Huangtai smiled softly, then turned his head and looked at Lu Wanting. That boy Wang Fen is in my universe right now, with me. He wants to help our universe destroy the Devourer's brood before he returns to your universe, and that Devourer's brood, the stored life energy, will also be very helpful to him in the future. That's all I have to say. I can guarantee that what I say is true. Therefore, it's up to you how to help Wang Fen maintain his team during the period when he is no longer around. After returning, he still needs the Hope Expeditionary Force to accompany him on the rest of his journey. Remember, you just need to know these words yourself. I hope that the Expeditionary Force is now too dependent on Wang Fen, so I didn't tell them because I wanted to train them and have a greater influence on Wang Fen in the future. Help. I've said all that needs to be said. It's time for me to go shopping. To be honest, I have never seen such a beautiful scenery in the land of God's punishment for so long. I should seize the time to travel for a few years. Wait, then when the kid comes back, I won't have this time. While talking, Dong Huangtai put his hands behind his back and prepared to leave. Why did you tell me if you want to exercise? Lu Wanting chased after him and asked softly. Because. Dong Huangtai turned around, looked at Lu Wanting, and smiled softly. You are his woman. No matter what he says, you have saved the human planet in our universe. I should always repay him. Afterwards, Dong Huangtai walked away, leaving behind Lu Wanting, who was meditating on the spot. After a while, Lu Wanting raised her head, first looked at the back of Dong Huangtai, who had almost disappeared, and then turned back to look at the soldiers of the Expeditionary Force who were busy setting up checkpoints. She took a deep breath, with a determined light in her eyes. At this time, Duan Lei was also busy in the city. Lu Feng had arranged manpower to clear the ruins of the outer city. At the same time, there were soldiers in the inner city who were constantly reinforcing the walls. The entire army of the Forsaken should have been wiped out, but there are still many monsters in the land of God's punishment, especially those large monsters. The walls of the inner city cannot stop their swarm charge. Because this city was built by the Forsaken, when they were building it, they were actually out of boredom and did not consider using it to defend against the monsters in the land of God's punishment. Those monsters would not attack them at all. But now it is the Hope Expeditionary Force. They are all on the menu of those monsters, so the dishes are used to transform the walls of the inner city. Fortunately, the Hope Expeditionary Force is already familiar with this kind of thing, so it is easy to do it. When they had almost cleared the ruins of the outer city, rain suddenly started falling in the sky. This unexpected situation made Duan Lei and the others overjoyed. There were no lakes or rivers in the land of God's punishment, so water was a big problem, but now that it's raining, this problem is solved. Lei immediately ordered that everyone put down their work and dig a big pit in front of the city to store rainwater. More than 90,000 Expeditionary Force soldiers, all of whom had reached level 10, were a terrifying force. For half an hour, a huge crater with a diameter of 1 kilometer and a depth of more than 30 meters appeared in the city. Now that there is rain, planting can be put on the agenda. In addition to animal meat and insects, the food Wang Feng left behind before, there is also a lot of food stored on the home planet. Although processed foods such as rice can no longer be grown, corn kernels, potatoes and sweet potatoes may be tried. Lei doesn't know how long he will stay here with the Hope Expeditionary Force, but he is prepared for a rainy day. It never hurts to plan for the long term. Lei still doesn't know how wise his decision is now, because in the later stage, it is basically difficult for their search team to see monsters. Without these plants and plants specially left for breeding, it is impossible for those monsters to remain in peak condition when Wang Feng returns. Of course, Wang Feng didn't know either. Now the Hope Expeditionary Force has taken root in the land of God's punishment, and its life is not difficult. It's even quite nourishing. In addition to training troops every day, it means going out to search. The land of God's punishment is almost there. It was turned into a back garden by the Hope Expeditionary Force. However, the land of divine punishment seems to have no end, and Lei also prohibits the search team of the Hope Expedition from leaving too far. After all, this is also the land of divine punishment, and Lei does not want any soldiers to die because of carelessness. Here it is. When Wang Feng entered the 8th year of this universe, he once again made a new discovery. This time, what he discovered was not the Devourer, but a small space fleet. When this space fleet appeared in the detector on the Yanhuang, Wang Feng was stunned for a moment, and then took a closer look. Fortunately, there were only about 40 or 50 small and medium-sized warships, which was not a big threat. However, judging from the detector, it seems that the shape of these battleships is a bit like the triangular battleships of the Space Ghost. In order to confirm, Wang Feng deviated slightly from the course and sailed towards the fleet. Seeing Wang Feng's route change, the fleet on the other side was not afraid, because after all, they had the advantage in numbers, but the Kali spacecraft following Wang Feng was a little frightened. Is this human race short-sighted? There are so many battleships, even if they are not as powerful as yours, but there are so many of them. You're enjoying yourself without causing trouble, so why are you still approaching them? In the universe, there is no situation where you can ask for directions. Even races without hatred may directly attack you. Therefore, after Wang Feng changed the route, the Kali tribe's spaceship did not continue to follow up, because they were not combat-oriented, and in the past they could only be used as targets, without much use. After Wang Feng got close to the space fleet, Wang Feng finally confirmed that the fleet on the opposite side was really the fleet of the Space Ghost. Haha! It's really these bastards. Wang Feng said with a sinister smile. He had no good impressions of the cosmic ghost, a creature that destroyed the planet where he was born, regardless of whether he knew his own universe. He turned to look at Dong Huangtai and asked, "How about it? Have a vote." "Whatever." Dong Huangtai was still lying on the chair, without raising his eyelids, and said casually, "I'm just a soy sauce person now. As long as I can destroy the Devourer's nest, you can do whatever else you want. But, don't just leave the Yanhuang here before you see the Space Ghost." "Humph. Just them." Wang Feng sneered, then drove the Yanhuang space battleship and rushed towards the fleet of Space Ghost. At this time, the Space Ghost was already ready for battle, and even separated out 10 small battleships and 1 heavy space battleship, preparing to bypass Wang Feng and attack the Kali spacecraft behind them. For the cosmic ghosts, they have no allies at all in this world. All creatures are their food, and even the Devourers are just their minions. Therefore, during the voyage, no matter which space battleship they encounter, they will attack it and try to capture the opponent's battleship. Then, they will find the location of their planet from the battleship's star map, and then gather there to massacre. In particular, these cosmic ghosts have discovered that what they encountered was actually a human space battleship, and it was also a flagship. As for the spaceship behind, of course they misunderstood it as a human spaceship, and they had never seen the spaceships of the Lee tribe, and the spaceships are not battleships, so the spaceships of all tribes are actually very similar. Anyway, they are all used to transport supplies or carry people. Therefore, in fact, no matter whether Wang Feng changed the course or not, these cosmic ghosts would not let them go. However, if they escaped, the cosmic ghosts would not be able to catch up with the Yanhuang, but the Kali tribe's spaceship would probably be enough. The spaceship is mainly used to carry people, and it requires comfort and defense. Speed and attack are both shortcomings. Once it is surrounded by the fleet of Space Ghost, it is basically dead, even if Wang Feng just gave it their spaceship replenished its energy to no avail. Seeing the cosmic ghosts dividing their forces, Wang Feng sneered. Although he had now obtained the coordinates of the Kali tribe, even if the Kali tribe's spaceship was killed by the cosmic ghosts, it would have no impact on Wang Feng himself. But of course Wang Feng refused to do this, so he turned the battleship around and pounced on the 11 Space Ghost battleships that were trying to bypass him and attack the Kali spacecraft. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 946. After entering the combat state, Wang Feng's mental power was immediately fully concentrated, his hair flying, and he kept moving quickly on the console. Only humans can drive a flagship-level space battleship like this one freely, because the hair of humans can replace their fingers to control the instruments. The 11 Space Ghost battleships originally planned to bypass the Yanhuang, but when they saw that the Yanhuang actually came to intercept them, they simply didn't go around. Anyway, it was just a space battleship, so they just had to kill it first, and then kill the spaceship. Anyway, they had to take them all down in the end. And the space battleships behind, seeing this situation, also rushed up, ready to focus their fire to kill the Yanhuang first. What surprised the Kali tribe and the Space Ghosts was that when they entered the range, Wang Feng did not activate the energy shield of the Yanhuang, and directly crashed into the Space Ghost warships. Is he going to commit suicide? The yellow helmet could not help but speak. In the battle between space battleships, which battleship did not activate the energy shield first to resist the enemy's artillery fire? If there is no protection of the energy shield, although the materials used to build the space battleships are the best materials that each race can take out, they will not be able to withstand the artillery fire of the battleships. If you are unlucky, the bombardment of any secondary gun can paralyze the power system of a space battleship. In the space war, the space battleship that loses the power system can only be a lamb, let the enemy slaughter it at will. Watch it. The leader of the Kali tribe shook his head. He felt that Wang Feng was not the kind of guy who would seek death, so he might have some killer moves. As the leader of the Kali tribe, he could only think so now, because if Wang Feng really made a suicidal attack, then Wang Feng would not only pit himself, but also them. He boasted loudly, as if the devourer was easy to catch in his eyes, and after encountering an unknown fleet, he went up and was destroyed directly. The Kali tribe was really tricked by Wang Feng and had no place to cry. They have now been discovered by the opponent's unknown fleet, and even if they want to escape, they have no chance. If Wang Feng's space battleship is really destroyed, then they will definitely be buried with it. The Kali tribe does not know the Space Ghost, because the one who attacked their planet was the Devourer tribe created by the Space Ghost. They are not very clear about the origin of the Devourer tribe, and Wang Feng did not tell them. As for the cosmic ghosts, although they also felt that this human battleship was a bit strange, they did not think much about it. The human race was their main enemy. Therefore, no matter whether it was the space battleship or the spaceship behind it, they could not let it go, and they had to try to capture it and not destroy it. Because they wanted to get the star map in the human battleship to find the current location of the human planet, and then completely destroy them. However, these cosmic ghosts did not expect that the human battleship they encountered was not an ordinary guy. It was a guy who had fought with them many times and almost killed a large space fleet of theirs. Although they were not creatures from the same universe, they were still cosmic ghosts after all. Their fate trajectories might be very different, but their combat methods were basically the same. Therefore, Wang Feng was quite familiar with them. There was actually only one reason why Wang Feng did not turn on the shield, that was to save life energy. Although this universe was led by Dong Huangtai, he knew in advance that Wang Feng would come, so he made preparations. Therefore, when Yan Huang was taken over by Wang Feng, the energy was almost full. Moreover, Wang Feng still has some life energy stored, but once the energy shield is turned on, the size of the Yan Huang will increase, and the target will naturally become larger, which is not suitable for him to dodge the opponent's attack, so Wang Feng dared to make such a move. However, he has been preparing a hair, and once there is an attack that cannot be avoided, he will immediately turn on the shield, and it is impossible to joke with the Yan Huang. At this time, the battleship of the Space Ghost has begun to attack the Yan Huang, and beams of light rays are directly rushing towards the Yan Huang. Wang Feng concentrates and drives the Yan Huang to dodge left and right. What stunned the Space Ghost was that their first round of attack did not cause any damage to the Yan Huang. So many beams of light did not hit the Yan Huang. They have fought with the human race's space battleships before, but they have never encountered such a powerful battleship. Is there a lot of people driving this battleship at the same time? Of course, the cosmic ghosts didn't know that Wang Feng's supernatural eyes not only had a super long range and could see weaknesses, but also could predict the trajectory of the energy beams they fired. Therefore, although it was dangerous to watch the Yan Huang dodge and it seemed that it would be hit if it was not careful, Wang Feng was quite confident because he had already predicted the trajectory of those energy beams. And the Yan Huang in this universe was no different from the Yan Huang he had driven before, so Wang Feng was naturally quite skilled in driving it. While dodging the attacks of the cosmic ghosts, Wang Feng was not idle either. He launched a concentrated fire attack on a medium-sized space battleship with all the beam cannons on the Yan Huang. Even if it was a space battleship, Wang Feng could clearly see their weak points, but because of the energy shield, Wang Feng had to gather all the attacks at one point and break the opponent's shield first. Since Wang Feng was the only one driving the Yan Huang, there was no coordination problem. Therefore, after using the sky eye to accurately calculate the distance and speed of the target, Wang Feng finally launched all the beam cannons on the Yan Huang at once, both the main gun and the secondary gun, all of which attacked the medium-sized space battleship. Although the positions of those ship guns were not quite the same, under Wang Feng's control, the energy beams they fired hit the same point of the energy shield of the medium-sized space battleship at the same time. The energy shield of the space battleship could not withstand this kind of attack at all. Just like an egg, it is difficult to crush it with your hands, but you can break the eggshell with a needle. Moreover, after those energy beams broke through the energy shield of the battleship, they were not completely consumed. The remaining energy beams actually destroyed the medium-sized space battleship directly. The fragments of the hull flew everywhere, scaring the space battleships around it to dodge. Good opportunity. Wang Feng did not expect that the effect of this concentrated fire attack would be so good. It seems that he used a little too much energy just now and overestimated the shield defense of the space battleship. So, Wang Feng took advantage of the Space Ghost warships dodging and the formation was scattered, and rushed directly between them, because now Wang Feng was attacking the space fleet that wanted to bypass him, and the only medium-sized space battleship had been destroyed by him, and these small space battleships could not stop Wang Feng's concentrated fire. Wang Feng directly split his attention and used two groups while dodging the artillery fire. He divided all the beam cannons on the Yanhuang into two groups and launched a concentrated fire attack on a small space battleship respectively. Fortunately, he has now rushed into the fleet of the Space Ghost. Because of the fear of accidental injury, the beams of light directed at the Yanhuang suddenly decreased by more than half, making it easier for Wang Feng to dodge. After turning back and forth twice, the space fleet that came to attack the Kali spaceship had only two small space battleships left, and fled back to its main force in a panic. At this time, a large number of small fighters began to fly out of the Space Ghost battleship and flew towards the Yanhuang. Originally, the Space Ghost believed that in the battle with the huge flagship space battleships such as the Yanhuang, small fighters had no chance to appear at all, because their attacks consumed very little of the Yanhuang's shield and would also affect their own attacks. But now the Yanhuang did not open the shield, which made the Space Ghosts guess that the Yanhuang did not have much energy, so they decided to send out small fighters. Among the remaining more than 30 large and small space battleships, nearly 1,000 small fighters swarmed out. If they were on the planet, they would probably be described as covering the sky and the sun. But in the vast universe, they were just like a swarm of bees, rushing towards the Yanhuang. Seeing so many small fighters attacking, Wang Feng did not dare to be arrogant and directly turned on the energy shield. Although the beam cannon of the small fighter was not powerful, it could still penetrate the hull of the Yanhuang without a passport. Tens of millions of energy beams, not to mention the sky eye, even the chicken eye could not escape. While turning on the energy shield, Wang Feng also launched an attack, but his target was not the small fighters, but the space battleships. Because the small fighters blocked the line of sight, a medium-sized space battleship was destroyed by Wang Feng before it could react, and turned into space dust. By now, those space ghosts had already given up the idea of capturing the space battleship in front of them. They now wanted to kill this big guy who was so strong that it was a little perverted. As for the star map, the spaceship behind should also have it. After killing this space battleship, are you still afraid that the spaceship with a combat power of only 5 will run away? After destroying a space battleship, Wang Feng drove the Yanhuang straight up and avoided the small fighter cluster. Although the energy shield of the Yanhuang was hit many times by those small fighters, Wang Feng ignored it and dived down again, rushing towards those space battleships. Since the energy shield has begun to be consumed, Wang Feng simply stopped saving and did not avoid those beams. This would give him more energy to mobilize the ship's guns and attack the space battleships in front. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 947. Seeing that Wang Feng had evaded his pursuit, those small fighter planes turned around one after another and chased the Yanhuang. Because the small fighters were very fast, they actually caught up with the Yanhuang. However, even from behind, the Yanhuang was still able to attack them. Wang Feng mobilized all the microbeam cannons on the Yanhuang, which were specially designed to carry out close attacks against small fighters. They were used by Wang Feng on the Atlantis star in Wang Feng's universe. It's these miniature beam cannons. While avoiding small fighters, he controlled micro beam cannons to attack these small fighters, and at the same time controlled other beam cannons to attack those space battleships. At this moment, Wang Feng's mental power hit a high level, and he concentrated on the control. Yanhuang number. Hundreds of thousands of hairs were clicking on the console around him, almost completely covering Wang Feng's face. Dong Huang Tai watched quietly from the side, nodding secretly in his heart, among the human race. Even among all the humans in the two-dimensional universes of him and Wang Feng, I am afraid that there will never be such an awesome person again. Wang Feng's fighting talent is really amazing. I'm afraid only such a person can have the chance to stand at the supreme pinnacle. It's just a pity. Dong Huangtai shook his head secretly, feeling sorry for Wang Feng's final fate, but he soon felt relieved. Wang Feng chose the road himself. Perhaps, he thought that his choice was more suitable for him. Everyone has different ideas. The same, so there is only the most suitable lifestyle for a person, but there is no best lifestyle. The rich have their troubles, and the poor also have their joys. Whether he is happy or not depends entirely on his mentality, which is not so closely related to material things. Dong Huangtai just watched Wang Feng's operations quietly without paying any attention to the battle situation outside. It was as if he didn't know at all that once Wang Feng made a mistake in his operations, he and Yan Huang would be killed by countless people. The energy beam tore apart and turned into dust in the universe. But Wang Feng is not thinking about anything now, and he has no time to think about the end of the world, the future, the Hope Expeditionary Force, or even Lu Wanting. They had all been forgotten by him at this moment. Wang Feng's thoughts seemed to have entered an ethereal state. In his eyes, there were only those energy beams flying all over the sky, and the space battleships and small fighter planes of the cosmic ghost. He. Seeing Wang Feng enter the state, Dong Huangtai suddenly chuckled in his heart and thought to himself, it seems that this fleet of cosmic ghosts not only did not cause any trouble to Wang Feng, but actually made his eyes strange. Being able to improve again is a huge advantage for Wang Feng. Of course, these cosmic ghosts are not completely useless. At least, they consumed a lot of energy from the Yanhuang, and their sacrifice was not in vain. The eyes are as bright as fire. The heart is as calm as water. It seems that the bottleneck of level 12 can no longer restrain him. However, if you want to reach level 12, you still need, haha. I hope you can survive that level. Dong Huangtai looked at Wang Feng and said silently in his heart. At this time, Wang Feng was completely unaware of his situation and was still immersed in his own battle. At this time, 1/3 of the number of small fighters, which numbered more than 10 million, had been lost, many of which were killed by him. Injured by accident. Colliding with one's own side, being shot down by the gunfire of his own battleship, and even crashing into the space battleship on his side because of avoiding the gunfire. All of these were caused by Wang Feng either using the Yanhuang's position or using the beam cannon. The attack reached, at this moment, Wang Feng almost transformed into the god of war, without making any meaningless action at all. Every move he makes and every shot he fires has its own purpose, either causing the enemy ship or aircraft to crash, or escaping the opponent's attack, or even directly destroying the enemy ship while dodging. No wonder the humans who came before were so loud that they dared to destroy the Devourer's nest with just one space battleship. How many captain-level humans are controlling this battleship? On the Kali tribe's spaceship, watching the air battle in the distance, Blue Helmet asked in shock. Although they did not dare to get close, so the details of the battlefield could not be seen clearly, but the human race only had one fighter plane. If it was destroyed, then the battle would be over. It should be over. But now the battle is obviously still going on. So, all the fires caused by the destruction of the battleships that I saw before naturally belong to the unidentified fleet. A space battleship single-handedly challenged a fleet and actually persisted for such a long time. This kind of thing is enough to shock all the people of the Kali tribe. I'm afraid, there aren't many people on that battleship. The leader of the Kali tribe, the blue-eyed old man, slowly shook his head. He looked at the distant battlefield, and a strange light flashed in his blue eyes. If there are a lot of people, in this chaotic situation, if there is a slight mistake in cooperation, the consequences will be catastrophic. Therefore, I think that the human space battleship is probably controlled by one person. Impossible. Several Kali tribesmen behind the blue-eyed old man retorted in unison, and then the red helmet continued. Now the human space battleship has been completely surrounded by battleships and fighter planes of unknown races. It is impossible for one person to take into account all the angles of his own battleship. Even if he can see it through the monitoring screen, how is it possible to control so many beam cannons at the same time? I think so too. Blue Helmet said. I estimate that one person may be controlling the movement of the battleship, while others are controlling the beam cannons. In this case, the difficulty of coordination should be lower. Among you, there are a total of 12 of you, all of whom have been captains of space battleships. I only ask you if, among the human race's space battleships, you 12 are to control that space battleship, how long can you last in this battle? Just use the method you just said. The blue-eyed old man did not argue with them. Instead, he asked them a question directly. After hearing this question, the Kali tribe fell silent. They did not need to calculate at all. As early as the beginning of the battle, Wang Feng drove the Yanhuang and rushed towards. When they arrived at that space fleet, they had already made deductions in their minds. If they were in that space battleship and had not turned on the shield for the first time to avoid those beam cannons, the battleship would have been destroyed and they would have all been killed. Even if they turned on the shield, according to energy calculations, they would definitely not be able to hold on until now, and they would have been destroyed long ago, so they were collectively silent. Alas! It seems that the legendary figure has finally appeared, but unfortunately, he is not from our Kali tribe. The green-eyed old man looked at the battlefield where the fierce fighting was still taking place and sighed. What legend? The other Kali people couldn't help but be surprised, but the blue-eyed old man just shook his head gently and did not answer their questions. At this time, there are only 10 space battleships left in the Space Ghost, and only one medium-sized one. The others are small. As for the small fighters, most of them have been lost. A considerable number of small fighters were lost in Wang. After Feng piloted the Yanhuang and rushed into the battleship group of the Space Ghost, he was killed by the explosion of the destroyed space battleships. After fighting until now, the Cosmic Ghost finally understood that it was impossible to kill this human space battleship, so they began to retreat. But with Wang Feng's attitude towards the Cosmic Ghost, how could he just retreat because of their retreat? End the fight? When the pursuit started, Cosmic Ghost discovered that the speed of his warship was no match for Wang Feng, so he immediately began to flee separately. Moreover, the fleeing Cosmic Ghost warship also directly issued orders to those small fighters that had no time to recover. An order: let them attack the Kali tribe's spaceship. The Space Ghost still regards the spaceship as belonging to the human race. Therefore, in their imagination, if these small fighters attack the spaceship, they should be able to contain this abnormally powerful space battleship. Although their guess was wrong, their order was somewhat erroneous. Even though the spaceship belonged to the Kali tribe and there was no human on it, Wang Feng could not let it be destroyed. Therefore, after discovering that the millions of small fighter planes all gave up on him and flew towards the Kali tribe's spaceship, Wang Feng once again focused his fire and killed a small space battleship, then turned back and gave up the pursuit to assist the Kali tribe's spaceship. Seeing those space battleships actually starting to escape, the Kali people couldn't believe it. However, before they had time to be shocked, they discovered that all those small fighter planes were flying towards them. The speed of the small fighter plane was faster than that of the space battleship in a short distance, so it was too late for them to escape. Fortunately, Wang Feng had replenished energy for their spacecraft in order to prevent an accident, so they quickly turned on use the shield to resist attacks from small fighter planes. Fortunately, those small fighters didn't really want to attack the spacecraft. Otherwise, if a few small fighters hit the Kali spacecraft with a suicide attack, they would have crashed. Even Wang Feng couldn't save them. These small fighters just wanted to stop the Yanhuang's pursuit. They didn't want to exchange their own lives for the lives of the human race. Now that they saw that their goal had been achieved, they immediately changed direction and fled for their lives before the arrival of the Yanhuang. Wang Feng was not interested in chasing them, so he parked the Yanhuang directly at the Kali tribe, next to the spaceship. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 948. Are you guys okay? Wang Feng asked through the communicator. It's okay. Thank you. The blue-eyed old man, the leader of the Kali tribe, replied that he didn't know what he should say. Now he had some vague guesses, but he didn't dare to say them out. In addition, he has no way to express his gratitude to Wang Feng and the others with promises. If the person he guessed is really on this human space battleship, then he will have no ability to repay the human race in the future. The Kali people standing behind him were all looking at the Yanhuang. If they all took off their helmets, they would probably be able to see their sparkling eyes and expressions of admiration. A space battleship singled out a space fleet. The final result was that the space fleet was almost annihilated. Only less than 10 space battleships fled in panic. If it weren't for them, Wang Feng would have continued to pursue. If we continue, we will definitely be able to continue to expand our results. So now these Kali tribesmen are already shocked by Wang Feng, especially the two guys blue helmet and yellow helmet. They may never have imagined that their own selves in another universe had looked down on Wang Feng with a superior vision. Okay. Since it's okay, let's move on. After confirming that there was no problem with the Kali tribe's spaceship, Wang Feng said casually and drove the Yanhuang away from here, continuing in the direction of the Devourer. Naturally, the Kali tribe's spaceship followed immediately, and they were much closer than before. Now, none of the Kali tribe doubted that Wang Feng could not destroy the mother nest, but they didn't know it. Yes, the Yanhuang went through the battle just now, but it was not without losses. During the voyage, Dong Huangtai looked at Wang Feng quietly and did not look away for a long time. Wang Feng felt strange, so he turned to look at Dong Huangtai. What's wrong? Nothing. Dong Huangtai sighed softly. I think I kind of understand why you made that choice at the end. What? Wang Feng frowned. What last minute? What did I choose? Nothing. Dong Huangtai shook his head and then asked. You probably didn't think of attacking the space fleet of this cosmic ghost just because you hated the cosmic ghost, right? Wang Feng heard Dong Huang's words, hesitated for a moment, and then said. Yes. What if? In our universe, Atlantis was destroyed by cosmic ghosts. Although they are not the cosmic ghosts I encountered just now, it does not prevent me from hating them. That's it? Dong Huangtai stepped forward, clicked a red dot on the space probe and said. Then, how do you explain this? Wang Feng looked down and then replied nonchalantly. I'm too lazy to chase it. It's just a small space battleship with little energy left. Hee hee. Dong Huangtai chuckled. There is not much energy left? It must be that the energy is gone, right? The red dot that Dong Huangtai just clicked was actually a small space battleship of the Space Ghost. This was the space fleet. After being dispersed by Wang Feng, the Space Ghosts were unwilling to give up, so they left behind a small space battleship. Space battleships, come and follow them. It is estimated that they have now notified the headquarters of Cosmic Ghost outside the original star. There should be a large number of Cosmic Ghost fleets rushing here now. In fact, the reason why Dong Huangtai asked Wang Feng was because Dong Huangtai knew in his heart that the reason why Wang Feng would attack the Cosmic Ghost fleet was not just because of his hatred of the Cosmic Ghost. Because what Wang Feng wants to do most right now is to quickly kill the Devourer brood and then return to his own universe. The Cosmic Ghost of this universe is not worth the risk for him. The reason why Wang Feng did not hesitate to consume a large amount of life energy reserves and raid this fleet of cosmic ghosts was actually mainly to help the human race in this universe stay away from the threat of cosmic ghosts. Of course Wang Feng knew that the Devourers were not the real enemies of the human race. The real enemies of the human race in the outside world were the cosmic ghosts. Therefore, After discovering that the cosmic fleet looked a bit like the fleet of cosmic ghosts, Wang Feng immediately thought that if he attacked them here, the cosmic ghosts would definitely think that the human planet was near this cosmic space. It's amazing that it only passes through one or two space overlapping points. In this way, Wang Feng has restrained the ghost of the universe here. You know, it took them 8 years to get here from the star of Atlantis, and they passed through countless space points in the process. After he misguided the cosmic ghost, the possibility of the cosmic ghost being able to find Atlantis was infinitely reduced. In addition, the Kali tribe is currently following them, so it can basically be confirmed that the universe's Atlantis is unlikely to be able to salute the catastrophe of the apocalyptic skyfire and cosmic ghosts again. However, although this is Wang Feng's true purpose, Wang Feng does not want to say it directly. He does not simply want to repay Dong Huangtai for his lonely years in the land of divine punishment. But Wang Feng felt that even though he knew that they were not in the same universe and these people were not the group of people he really knew, he should still help them, as if those people were the people he knew. What's more, there is another version of myself on the distant star of Atlantis. He in another universe has already embarked on this difficult road. The self in this universe should not take this road again. In particular, even though they belong to two different dimensional universes, for some reason, Wang Feng always feels that he is more interested in the human race on the Atlantis planet in this universe, and even the Kali tribe, than he is. In that universe, the humans on the original star were more friendly. Wang Feng couldn't explain why. It might be because he had grown up on Atlantis since he was a child. In addition, he had seen a few acquaintances there, especially the human race on the original star. Because of Dong Huangtai's Wang Feng didn't get rid of the relationship, so he didn't catch a cold very much. At this time, after hearing Dong Huangtai's question, Wang Feng shrugged his shoulders, because he was right. Although the battle just now was quite brilliant, with the power of a space battleship, he could single-handedly challenge a cosmic force. Although the fleet is a small space fleet, it is still dozens of space battleships plus tens of millions of small fighters. Not only did Wang Feng dare to fight, but he actually won a complete victory in the end. In the end, the fleet of the Space Ghost escaped. But Wang Feng did not pay a price. In order to support the energy shield, he not only exhausted the Yanhuang's own energy reserves, but even the life energy stored in his body was running low. If another space fleet comes at this time, then he really won't be able to activate the shield. As for his current situation, Dong Huangtai has already made a guess. Therefore, he said that Wang Feng has no life energy. After hearing Dong Huangtai's words, Wang Feng shrugged casually. Okay. You are right, there is no energy. What's wrong? Do you have any ideas? Dong Huangtai shook his head. I have no choice, I just want to ask you, when you encounter the Devourers, how will you deal with them? Huh. After Wang Feng heard Dong Huangtai's words, he was surprised and turned to look at Dong Huangtai. Didn't you say that you had seen all this in your dream? Didn't you see how I killed the Devourer? Hearing Wang Feng's words, Dong Huangtai also frowned, seeming to be recalling something, and then said, I'm not very sure, because in the dream, it's just a rough process, and it can't be all very clear. I estimate that something happened in your universe after you came here that caused the prophecy to appear. There are some deviations. In my previous dreams, what happened after you came was basically the same. However, after meeting these Kali people, what happened again was a little different from my dreams. In my dream, after you encountered the Kali clan's spaceship, you did not encounter the cosmic ghost, but the pursuers sent by the Devourer clan to chase them. But the reality we are encountering now is that we did not encounter the pursuers of Devourer, but instead encountered a fleet of the cosmic ghost. Therefore, I can't say for sure how to enter the city later. Wang Feng was stunned, and then he remembered that it had been less than 2 years since he met the Kali tribe's spaceship. Because he was fighting against the Devourer tribe, the pursuers of the Devourer tribe were far away. The time for the Li clan should be doubled. This time period is about the same time as the vanguard of the Devourer arrived at Atlantis in their own universe. In other words, I should have encountered the Devourer's pursuers before. Shouldn't they be cosmic ghosts? Xianyuan of this universe did not go undercover in the race of the cosmic ghost, so this Devourer was created by the cosmic ghost itself. It is impossible for them not to grasp the location of the Devourer, so if the Devourer will come here, there is no need for the cosmic ghost to come here? I looked at the space detector carefully again. Except for the space ghost battleship that was still following them from a distance, there was no other battleship within the detection range. Strange. Since it wasn't created by an undercover agent, Devourer should be of the same mind as the cosmic ghost. Why, it was clearly the Devourer that was supposed to appear, but it was replaced by the cosmic ghost. Could it be that Devourer was afraid that he would not be able to catch up with the Kali tribe? Man, is that why the cosmic ghost came? Wang Feng said to himself, but then he shook his head. This guess was completely unreliable. The Devourers are a subsidiary race of the cosmic ghost, and it is impossible to mobilize the cosmic ghost. Subordinate race. Wang Feng's eyes suddenly lit up, he raised his head and shouted. I see. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 949. When Dong Huangtai heard Wang Feng's words, he frowned and looked over, while Wang Feng sat down on the chair, and then began to explain the reason why he thought. What I understand is not why our real experience is different from your dream, because you said this is what happened in my universe, which affected our current process, and I have not returned to my own universe. So I don't know this either. What I want to understand is why the Devourer pursuers we were supposed to encounter suddenly turned into cosmic ghosts. Having said this, Wang Feng turned to look at Dong Huangtai and asked. You should know that the Devourers were created by the cosmic ghost and are a subsidiary race of the cosmic ghost. However, this theory only exists in your universe. In our universe, Devourer does not entirely belong to the cosmic ghost, because he was created by Xianyuan, one of the three emperors of the human race. Although he also works for the cosmic ghost, he is secretly controlled by Xianyuan. In our place, Devourer is just the energy prepared to fully awaken Xianyuan's sword. Dong Huangtai looked at Wang Feng in confusion. He knew all this. Why was Wang Feng telling him this? Is it simply to reduce the number of words? Wang Feng seemed to have seen through Dong Huangtai's thoughts, so he rolled his eyes and continued. In our universe, although the Devourers are known as the subordinate race of the cosmic ghost, or to put it more harshly, they are the dogs raised by the cosmic ghost, but apart from conveying the coordinates of Atlantis to the cosmic ghost in the end, they have no other. What kind of help did you give to the ghost of the universe? Including the life energy accumulated by the Devourer for tens of thousands of years, none of it has been contributed to the cosmic ghost. Except for the awakening of the Xianyuan sword, it was all plundered by me. But in your universe, the Devourers really serve the cosmic ghosts. The life energy they plunder will naturally be handed over to the cosmic ghosts. Therefore, this small fleet of cosmic ghosts should be here to receive the Devourers. The plundered life energy just happened to meet us. At least, in our universe, the actions of the cosmic ghosts seem to be based on large fleets. I have never heard of any small fleets going far away from the large fleets. After turning around and clicking on the Space Ghost battleship on the detector screen, Wang Feng continued. Therefore, there is only one possibility for these guys to appear near the Devourers. They came specifically to find the Devourers. Perhaps it was because of their arrival that the Devourer army that was chasing the Kali tribe returned again. Wang Feng smiled bitterly and shook his head. It's so depressing to say that. Because under this situation, the Devourer's army chasing the Kali tribe should have no way to catch them, so if we don't come, it is very likely that Atlantis will be safer because the cosmic ghost has not discovered the human race. Now that the cosmic ghost has discovered us, it will start frantically looking for humans. Although it is quite far away from Atlantis, it has once again mobilized the enthusiasm of the cosmic ghost to search for humans. Furthermore, I am sure that there must be a space intersection in the direction where the small fleet of cosmic ghost came from just now, and through that space overlay, we should be able to find the way to the headquarters of cosmic ghost. Dong Huangtai looked at Wang Feng in astonishment. You don't want to attack the space ghost headquarters, do you? How is that possible? Wang Feng quickly shook his head. Don't tell me that I don't have much life energy now. Even if I did, I wouldn't be able to go to the headquarters of the cosmic ghost to die. Let alone the headquarters of the cosmic ghost. If a large fleet appeared just now, I would not care. Run away without hesitation. That's right. Speaking of which, if you don't have life energy, how can you kill the Devourer brood? Moreover, I think I need to remind you that at least a large fleet of cosmic ghosts must be coming here now. If you want to kill the Devourer brood, you have to be fast. Dong Huangtai couldn't help but said. The Devourer's brood. Wang Feng smiled softly. That guy is easy to deal with, you don't have to worry. Dong Huangtai looked at Wang Feng, frowned and said. It seems that Duan Lei is the think tank of the Hope Expeditionary Force, right? Why do you give me this feeling now? It seems that your analytical skills are quite strong. Wang Feng slapped his forehead. Lei Zi is indeed the think tank of the Hope Expeditionary Force, but that doesn't mean that everyone else in the Hope Expeditionary Force is a fool, right? Moreover, if Lei Zi is here, I don't bother to analyze it. It's not that he doesn't come here. I can only use my own brain. Alright. Dong Huangtai sat back. Anyway, I'm just here to make fun of myself. I'm just waiting to see you destroy the Devourer's brood. Ha 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 ha. Wang Feng laughed. You really can't see me destroying the Devourer this time. Dong Huangtai looked at Wang Feng, but he knew that Wang Feng would definitely not reveal his method directly in order to take revenge on him, so he simply didn't ask. Anyway, as long as Wang Feng could really kill the Devourer, even if the mission is completed, the method used and the process of killing him are not that important. Wang Feng looked at the vast universe ahead, and then looked at the space ghost battleship that was chasing after him. He sighed softly. He did not go back to destroy the space battleship, because he knew that as long as if you turn around, the battleship will run away. Although you can catch up, it is meaningless. If you kill this one, there will be others behind it. And what Dong Huangtai said is right, at least 1 or 2 large battleship groups of the Space Ghost are coming here. If he pursues them, he will not have time to kill the Devourer's brood. In fact, Wang Feng originally wanted to let Dong Huangtai pilot the Yanhuang when he was close to the Devourer's brood, and then sneak attack the Devourer's brood himself. However, due to the energy problem, this method is no longer applicable. Therefore, Wang Feng can only take a risky approach now. Dong Huangtai, aren't you a great prophet? Can you predict what is happening in our universe? When the control hall returned to silence, Wang Feng suddenly raised a question that he was concerned about. Dong Huangtai once said before that the difference between the reality they experienced and Dong Huangtai's dream should be due to the influence of Wang Feng's universe. Influence, and it is still of its own era. In other words, a few years after he left the land of God's punishment, some changes occurred in his universe. What changes would they be? Could it be that the expeditionary force finally left the land of God's punishment? Of course, Wang Feng could not have imagined that his own universe had indeed undergone a huge change. However, this change did not occur a few years after he left, but occurred less than a month after he left, and for I hope this is a good change for the expeditionary force. As for whether the situation on Wang Feng's side was caused by the dissipation of that soul, no one knows. When Dong Huangtai heard Wang Feng's words, he gently shook his head and said, "No. My ability to predict does not mean that I can predict whatever I want. Most of the time, omens appear in my mind by themselves, such as that real dream. Now, even my dream has gone awry. How can I feel across another universe? I can't do it." After hearing Dong Huangtai's words, Wang Feng stopped asking, but he was even more worried about his own universe. "By the way, Dong Huang, if I return to my universe, can I go through that portal and bring all the people I want to bring to this universe?" Wang Feng had a sudden thought. There was no crisis for the human race in this universe for the time being. If he brought all the Hope Expeditionary Force here through the portal, wouldn't it be? Don't think about it. It's impossible. Dong Huangtai suppressed Wang Feng's thoughts without hesitation. Not everyone can pass through that portal. Moreover, the people in your world have someone identical to him here. Once this happens too many times, it will lead to chaos in the laws of heaven and earth, and even, will directly cause the universe to collapse. So, don't think about this anymore. Wang Feng shook his head. This won't work, and that won't work either. It seems that he really has only to keep fighting. This time, Wang Feng and the others only traveled in space for 7 or 8 months before they arrived at the location of the Devourers. In fact, the Devourers' mother nest is now staying near the Kali tribe's planet, and in the Kali tribe's home nest. There are still a large number of Devourers on the planet. Seeing that Devourer was still here, Wang Feng finally breathed a sigh of relief. What he was most afraid of now was that after meeting him, the cosmic ghost not only notified his headquarters, but also notified Devourer, so he might have to escape. Now it seems that after discovering the human race, the cosmic ghosts no longer care about their dog, because what they want most is to destroy the human race, complete destruction. Wang Feng stopped the Yanhuang just as he was able to detect the Devourer's brood. If he got closer, he was afraid that the Devourer's brood would find him. "Dong Huangtai, wait for me here. Be careful of the space battleship behind you. I'll be here as soon as I go." After stopping the Yanhuang, Wang Feng said this to Dong Huangtai. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 950. Don't use the Yanhuang number? And you're coming back so soon? Dong Huangtai was shocked by Wang Feng's words. As the great prophet of the human race, he had never shown such emotions before. "Are you here to pick up a package? And you're coming back so soon? Ha 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 ha." Seeing Dong Huangtai's expression, it was obvious that Wang Feng was also quite proud. He could scare the great prophet of the human race like this. Wang Feng could pretend for a year. Then, Wang Feng patted Dong Huangtai on the shoulder and said, "Be careful, don't get close. If the space fleet of the Space Ghost comes, you should leave first, don't worry about me. Be careful." Afterwards, Wang Feng turned and left the control hall, leaving Dong Huangtai dumbfounded. After a while, Dong Huangtai reacted and looked at Wang Feng, who was already driving a small fighter outside and leaving in the direction of the Devourer's nest. He murmured, "Damn! Does this little guy treat me, the great prophet, as a child?" Wang Feng drove a small fighter and flew straight to the planet of the Kali tribe. There, the Devourer's nest was quietly floating in the planet's orbit, waiting for the arrival of the Space Ghost. Wang Feng guessed correctly. After escaping, the Space Ghost fleet that was dispersed by Wang Feng assigned a space battleship to follow the human battleship, and then reported directly to the Space Ghost headquarters. As for the Devourer, they had long forgotten about it. Because after the Devourer was created, although it was not created by Xianyuan, the undercover, the devourer of this universe still did not make any contribution to the cosmic ghost. Moreover, the devourer of this universe was created much earlier than the universe of Wang Feng, almost 100,000 years ago. In the past 100,000 years, the life energy plundered by the devourer clan has also been stored in the body of the devourer's nest, because the cosmic ghost itself did not expect that the devourer race could plunder so much life energy. Since the cosmic ghost did not take the initiative to ask the devourer for life energy, the devourer's nest would naturally not take the initiative to hand it over. Even if it occasionally mentioned it, it was just a casual mention without saying the specific amount. Since there was no one in the cosmic ghost who was willing to travel a long way to receive life energy, it was delayed like this. Until this time, because the devourer's nest felt that it had stored too much life energy and wanted to increase the upper limit of its own troops, it made a request to the cosmic ghost. This time, the cosmic ghost finally began to live with the devourer's nest. They didn't know how many races the devourer's nest had plundered in the past 100,000 years, because the order the devourer received was to report immediately after discovering the human race, but they at least knew how much life energy the devourer's nest could store. Now they heard that the devourer's nest had reached its storage limit, and they were shocked. Originally, they planned to let the devourer's nest return directly to the universe ghost headquarters, but because the devourer's nest was not fast, they were afraid that he would have problems on the way. They just happened to know that he was plundering a planet at the time, so they asked him to wait here, and then a small space fleet was sent from the headquarters to check the situation. Although the universe ghost headquarters also had two large space battleship formations at the time, these were the defense forces of the universe ghost headquarters. They had too many enemies, and although no one should know about the galaxy where the headquarters was located, they still did not dare to send out their defense forces easily. Because the portal to the original star is on the planet where the headquarters is located. Once it is destroyed, they will lose contact with the original star. After being asked to wait on this planet, the devourer nest quickly recalled the devourer army that it had sent to chase the Kali spaceship. Although the number of this army was less than 100,000, after the arrival of the cosmic ghost, if it failed to fight for the upper limit of its troops because of its incomplete team, the devourer nest would have no place to cry. Compared with the upper limit of the mother nest's own troops, the escaped Kali people are of course more important. Moreover, in order to please the cosmic ghost, after learning that the cosmic ghost was going to send a space fleet, the devourer nest specifically ordered not to slaughter those Kali people, but to imprison them all. Because the devourer nest knew that although the cosmic ghost could directly use life energy as food, there was no vitality in such food, so the cosmic ghost preferred to feed directly on the creatures. It was the reason why the cosmic ghost did not care too much about the life energy plundered by the devourer. In fact, it was for this reason that the devourer nest naturally had to leave a large number of fresh lives to please its master in order to achieve its own goals. All these reasons combined together led to a series of events. Perhaps, as Dong Huangtai said, even if you have the ability to predict, some things cannot be changed, because when you make changes, accidents may happen in other places, causing you to work hard but have no effect on the results at all. Some things seem to have to happen, for example, the fate of the devourer's nest that has discovered Wang Feng. After seeing Wang Feng's small fighter, the devourer nest was obviously a little hesitant. He had never seen a human fighter, so he didn't recognize it, but at least he could recognize that this small fighter did not belong to his master, the cosmic ghost, nor to the Kali people he had fought with before. So where did such a small thing come from? However, the nest only hesitated for a moment, and then found the answer in the core of his consciousness: the human race. This is a human fighter. After he was created, the cosmic ghost once passed all the information of the human race to his consciousness, which naturally included the style of this small fighter. However, there is very little information about this small fighter, only a picture, because the cosmic ghost also knows that the human race cannot drive this small fighter and run around in the universe. Most of them have to carry space battleships to travel together in the universe. Therefore, the human race information transmitted by the cosmic ghost to the Devourer's nest mainly includes the appearance of the human race, the planets suitable for human life, and the information of the human race's large and small space battleships. Small fighters are naturally passed by. In addition, the Devourer's nest has been away for nearly 100,000 years. Just remembering that it plundered and stored life energy, the information of the human race has long been thrown behind its mind. If it directly saw humans themselves, or a space battleship, maybe it could remember it immediately. As for such a small fighter, the Devourer's nest only reacted after scanning its consciousness. At this time, the Devourer's nest was overjoyed and immediately commanded the biological spacecraft in its body to attack and capture this small fighter of the human race. No matter how many human races are in this fighter, he must be alive. Because just catching a few human races is basically useless. If you can find a planet where human races live, it will be a great achievement for the Devourer's nest. At least, the Devourer's nest itself is sure that the requirement to increase the upper limit of the force will definitely be met. The Devourer's nest discovered that the human fighter seemed to want to enter the planet of the Kali tribe, and the pilot of the fighter seemed to be a little stupid. He didn't realize that he was so big until he sent out the spaceship, and he hesitated for a while before trying to escape. At this time, the dozen biological spaceships sent out by the Devourer's nest had surrounded the human fighter. In order to grasp it, the Devourer's nest did not hesitate to use its biological spaceships. The trapped human spaceship seemed to find that it could not escape, so it played the universal new number from the original star to surrender. Seeing that everything was going well, the Devourer's nest asked the nest guards to escort the human fighter into its huge body. Originally, there should be a Devourer prince in his body, but because he found the core of life on the planet of the Kali tribe, the Devourer nest specially let the prince take the Devourer clan's artifact, a knife with its own space, and enter the Kali tribe's planet. Who knew that the prince actually took this opportunity to escape? But it doesn't matter. After expanding the upper limit of the troops, I will continue to explore in the universe and I will always find the damn prince. The Devourer nest thought so in my heart. Of course, in this universe, because the development trajectory of things is different from that of Wang Feng's universe, the Devourer clan's artifact is naturally not the Xianyuan sword. But why does the Devourer clan still have an artifact, and the prince also used the discovery of the core of life on the Kali tribe's planet to escape the control of the nest? Maybe this is what Dong Huangtai said, some things are destined to happen, right? After sending the human fighter plane into its body, the Devourer nest finally felt relieved. After entering, the human in the fighter plane would not be able to escape. After devouring the consciousness of the human inside, it would know where he came from, and master the coordinates of the human planet. When the cosmic ghost came here, it would be equivalent to directly making two contributions. Bang bang bang. Two nest guards stood on the small fighter plane, knocking on the fighter plane to signal Wang Feng to come out. Wang Feng pretended to be helpless, opened the hatch, and jumped off the fighter plane.